Welcome back to Ignite the podcast. Today we have a special guest. I'm very honored to actually have him here today. He's this guy. He owns the city to me in my eyes, and a lot what he's put into the community and what he's done as an entrepreneur is an amazing journey that he's been on. He goes by the name of Marco Estrella McGuire, and don't let that last name fool you. He is Mexican American. But Marcos, thanks for being here with us, Marco.
No, thank you, Dave, for inviting me. I was, I've always admired you and been, following you for a little while. And, it's not like I do podcasts all the time, but when you asked me, I was totally, for it. And, to support another Mexicano, you know what I mean? And have a good conversation. Yeah. I'm all for it, bro.
Let's
you
do
know
it,
what I mean?
man.
So
I appreciate it. Appreciate it. So let's talk a little bit about who you are. Obviously, you own multiple businesses and, you're in the restaurant, the hospitality business, and then you also in the insurance business.
That's correct, yeah.
Bail bonds, right? So kind of tell us a little bit for the audience that doesn't know you and, a little bit about who you are, and then we'll kind of go from there, brother. We'll just
me and my brothers, we've been hustling since we were kids. You know what I mean? Like most, first generation Mexicans coming here, our parents taught us hard work, taught us dedicate yourself and be true to the hustle. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, we were always grinding. We were always trying to figure out what's the next opportunity. But we've been fortunate. We've been blessed. But not everything is, not everything works out. It's just business,
Yeah.
But, I think that nothing comes easy, you know what I mean? And I think that, if there's American story, it'd be me and my brothers and many of us like that, like yourself and many out there, watching this, you can't take shortcuts in life, and especially in business, especially if you're trying to be successful. We
started. How many brothers is it, if you don't mind me asking? I know you said you and your brothers. So
there's 5 brothers,
and all of you are involved in the business.
All of us are involved with the insurance business, which is Bail Hotline.
Okay,
it's a unique. It's better to know me and not know me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But we're very proud of what we created and what we're still creating. It's a service industry, and a lot of people are like, there's so many different sides to, you do bail bonds. But I'm very proud of what I do and how many people we've helped throughout the years. Yeah. We've been very, very ethical and we've been hardworking people. And we started off with 1 or 2 offices, and then we just blew up to 35 offices throughout California. Wow. We're in Boise. We employ a lot of people, and we just have so many great stories of the people that we've helped. And, we still have great managers and we have great people that work for us. And we're just, very, very blessed on where we're at right now.
Was that the first thing that you did, was the bail bond, the insurance thing? And then you fell into because I ran into you through the hospitality part of it, right? The restaurants that you own and the nightclub. So I want to say there are more restaurants, right?
Yeah.
But that's how we actually met. So was that the first thing, the bail bonds, and then that fed into the hospitality thing, or how did all that work out?
Yeah, well, we've always been started. I mean, my story is long, like many entrepreneurs, many business people, grinding it. Before that, I was in the technology field, the IT, and then I was doing nightclubs when I was 18, 19 years old. Okay. And wherever there was an opportunity, bro, I just
hustle. You just out
hustle,
there
bro. I mean, I wasn't able to go to fancy college, and I've always tried to educate myself, and I've always been trying to advance myself. It's not, a lot of people say, well, I didn't go to this college and I didn't get that. You can't make excuses for what things didn't happen. You got to see things for what's to happen. Yeah. Right. So, I think everybody has a different story, a different journey. And, at the end of the day, you just got to be appreciative of what you have. And if things don't go your way, you just got to go to the drawing board again. You know what I mean?
What landed you in these 2 things? So that you did the bail bonds, you did the hospitality thing. So because I can never see myself doing hospitality, brother. I just
no, it's tough. It's not for everybody.
Business.
It's not. I'm going to be honest with you, bro. You got to have a passion for it. You got to really like it. I always dreamed of having my own place, that I would walk in and I would see the bar and I would see the restaurant. And I would see all these faces, kind of like this old Hollywood movie, right?
Yeah.
I'm just really relic in that kind of like that sense where I just like old Hollywood, the old movie. You get the guy at the piano and he's just sitting there. And it's just, to me, dude, it's just, I love it. You know what I mean? And as many as we've been doing the hospitality for what, 13 plus years, to me, it still hasn't gone old, you know? And I mean, we opened up, 5 locations right during COVID. You know, DTE was open right in COVID.
Wow.
You know, I had Gavin and his clan knocking on my door because, you know, they wanted to close us down.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to talk about Gavin, but I don't like the guy, but that's a different story. But it was
No,
crazy.
let's talk about him.
No, you know what? That could go on to a whole different world. But I think that, you know, we saw an opportunity. We opened up Downtown Experiment, and then from there we went to San Diego. We had already Prohibition, Downtown Experiment. Then we go to Salvatore's in San Diego, which is a beautiful place in San Diego. And then we open up Prohibition Los Angeles. And then after that, being crazy, we opened up Estrella. But Estrella is a little different.
Yeah.
It wasn't really about, okay, we're going to make this big business. It was kind of like what we were talking about earlier, is redemption. We sold mezcal, and it was really heartbreaking for me to sell mezcal.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted mezcal to be this thriving Mexican restaurant, not a nightclub.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be a restaurant, and I wanted it to be a place where, you know, where you got great food, great cocktails, but I didn't really see it as a nightclub because Prohibition was a hybrid as well.
Yeah.
But you know, the Estrella is kind of like a redemption for me and for my brother Danny, I think, and we always go back to it. But you can't look at the past.
Yeah.
You got to look at the future, and I think it's now thriving. It's doing well. But like you said, hospitality business is not for everybody, bro, because it takes a lot out of you.
How long have you been in business? Obviously, we know where you're at now. You started. Did you come from a wealthy family, or did you guys got here? I mean, how?
Not at all. I think it's the American story. You know what I mean? My parents from Mexico. You know, they got here. Fortunately for my father, you know, his mother remarried again, and he got his documents. You know, he got his papers from his stepfather. Okay. But my mother got here. Her mother was born in Arizona, but my grandfather born in Mexico. And, you know, they came here looking for a better life. And, you know, I was fortunate I was born in LA. But no,
you got given a McGuire last name too. With that.
You know what, man? I was born with it.
Not your typical Mexican last name.
No, not at all. And people are like, "Oh man, you're not Mexican." And you know, it's like one of those two things back in the day. You're not white guy. You're not a Mexican. What are you?
What are you? Jewish or what?
Yeah, but yeah, we're very Mexican. You know, very proud of
the culture. You think
the culture, and really, I think that you always got to be proud of where you're from.
Yeah,
and who you are, because you can't hide that. I think people respect that better. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I've been in the realms of, and people like, oh, you know, McGuire. I could very hide and say, oh, well, you know, not try to, but I'm really assertive when I say I'm Mexican.
Yeah.
Because I want people to know I'm Mexican.
100%.
Because I think it's very important that other Mexicans see us and they're proud as well. And I think because with our culture, sometimes people hate and this and that.
Oh, there's always
you know
hate.
that there's a hating always, but we got to learn to get away from that.
Yeah.
I think if minorities thought more like, and I hate to say this, but like the Jewish community,
100%.
can you imagine where Latinos would be at, and also the Black community if we thought like the Jewish community?
Yeah.
I mean, they're literally, their culture is about helping one another.
Yeah.
Push you and challenge you to go to the next step. And if there's something that for me, at least in my journey from here on out, is let me challenge the young.
Yeah.
Let me challenge you and push you, because if you're going to work for me or you want to be around me, you got to think like me.
Yeah.
You got to act like me in the sense that you want something better in life. Not that I'm saying I haven't made bad decisions, but in a sense that you're not going to get further by sitting. You know, by sitting
100%.
in your home, watching Netflix, playing video games. Yeah. Well, that's cool. If that's what you want, I'm cool with that. But business is about working.
Yeah.
And
putting in the work.
Yeah. And technology is not going to make you successful. It's going to help you be successful, but it's not going to make you successful. Yeah. I think that a lot of the young got that twisted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think AI is going to wake up for me today and it's gonna do my job. I don't have to go to work today. AI is gonna do it for me. Yeah, okay.
That's just not how it works, right?
Yeah, but we grew up poor, bro. We grew up poor in the sense that, for a while my mom was on welfare, you know what I mean, and the government assistance and all that. She was able to go back to work, and my parents. But no shame in that, bro. We I mean, everybody has a story, and so our story was just, we got an opportunity and we took it.
Yeah, that's crazy, and you ran with it, and till the day, I mean, you're still running for it.
Yeah.
Which brings this other question to me, because I see you successful and your brothers and you doing what you're doing, and just recently you went to a conference. Most people would think like, why would you even go to a conference if you're at this magnitude of success and you already own these multiple businesses and you're doing well? Why go to a summit or to go to anything like that? What else is needed if you're already winning?
Yeah, I think it's the challenge.
Yeah.
Right? Is the challenge to go into certain spectrums and platforms, to challenge yourself, to keep wanting to learn. Right? I think the learning part is more successful than the money part. It's crazy it sounds that, but to me, I think the learning part is more, it's more driven for me than trying to make more money. Because, and I guess too, because,
Well, you said something earlier. You said something earlier that Carl mentioned. You said, I don't chase money or something like that. You
yeah,
said
I don't chase money.
You were talking about it.
I don't chase money. I know it's very important. I know that's what makes the world go round, and I think that's why you open up a business. But I think if you're chasing money, then the money doesn't come. Because when you're chasing money, you're cutting corners, right? Or you're just thinking about the money. I always look at the story of the ant, right? The ant builds this empire little by little, and they're building it, but it's very, very, it's kind of like they're putting it together, and they're little ants, and they're working back and forth, and they're just working hard. When you work like that, it comes to you. But I think if you got cats out there that are just always chasing money, and they cut corners, and they do things that are maybe not ethical, then sooner or later things start to fall apart. And I'm not saying you need to be aggressive, because I think me and my brothers have been very aggressive.
Yeah.
That's how we succeeded.
There's a difference between being aggressive and then having integrity, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that, in our industry, in the bail bonds, sometimes we have a bad rap that bail bonds are this or that. But I think if you speak to most of our customers, when they went to our business, we treat them with respect. We had an old cliches like treat our customers like family, and with respect. And I think that happens with the hospitality as well. Teaching our staff to be like, you're going there to have an experience, right? In business, that's what it is. You'll build a better, successful business when you're thinking about your customer, when you're thinking about the business, what's right for the business and what's right for the customer. If you think like that, then the money will come, right? Mm-hmm. Then the money will come, right? I mean, of course, you need to pay your bills, and you're trying to be profitable and this and that. But I think when you're thinking more about the business and investing back in your business and investing in your customer, because what do I mean by investing in your customer? Am I educated to teach my customer about my business, right? In any business, you're buying a house. Did I educate my customer on the home? Was I open and I was open and honest about the home? Did I give them the best experience about them transacting this home? If I'm the realtor, or if I'm the loan officer, or whatever it is, I will get more customers that way. Yeah. And I always wanted to educate myself. And that's when you asked me that question, why do you go to the conference? Because I think if the more smarter I am, the better I am for my people, my customers, my staff, my managers, everybody around me.
Yeah, and you said you've had a staff up to 600 or
yeah, we have about 600 plus people that work for us.
I just want
within the
people to see
restaurants
the
and the
magnitude of
insurance.
your leadership. Is I want people to see that, like the magnitude of the leadership and the magnitude of like, hey, I'm educating myself so I can be a better leader, so I can know what I'm talking about, and I can actually, pull everybody forward.
Well, if you look in history, there's always been bad leaders and good leaders. And I think that, do you want to be remembered as a good leader or a bad leader? And for me, at least, and especially being the older brother of the five, I think it's important for me to teach my brothers that too. Because they probably sometimes don't follow me, but they understand the journey that I'm on. They, when I tell them, hey, I'm going to go to this conference, do you want to go? Sometimes they go, or sometimes they'll come, but somewhere or another, they'll grab that information from me.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's important that I still have that, like what's your brand here?
The Ignite. Yeah.
Ignite. You need to ignite yourself. You need to ignite on whatever you're going to do. And it's not easy, man. It's not easy. I can tell you right now. Because, like you said, I could just say, hey, you know what, man? I don't need to go to that conference. I don't need to progress. I think I'm cool where I'm at.
Yeah.
But that's where the train stops. I want my train to keep on going, bro.
Yeah. I think that's exactly. You asked me earlier about the Ignite in the name, and I'm like, that's what it. I've been in business for over 2 decades. I don't know how long. I'm sure you've been in business for a while as well. And I think you get to a point to where I tell people, when you're hands-on, very hands-on, you're going to get burned out if you don't start allowing a team to come in and start helping you and everyone start growing together. And Ignite to me was like, one, the why. I put a why in there. So
I like the name, to be honest with you.
I put the why in
cool.
there for a why, right? What's your why? What is it that's driving you? What is it that you want to ignite? And then igniting yourself, like, because I feel like for me, I've been in those stages where like I felt burned out. I'm like, I'm no longer doing it the way I used to do it. I'm no longer, on fire like I used to be on fire when I first got started. So it's always like reminding yourself, right, and kind of reviving that spark, that spark of like, hey, what's next? What's next for me to like spark up and get things rolling?
Yeah, what's the next play, man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's the next play? I've right now that I've been dealing with the Patrick Bet David, the Value Entertainment up in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious in Patrick's mentality of, he makes all of his people around him read a book.
Yeah.
Right? You got to read a book.
Yeah.
You
I
can't.
don't know if it's a book. I know it used to be a book a month, but I don't know what
Yeah,
it is now,
something
or a
like
book
that.
a week or a book a day nowadays. But
I try to, I try to get audibles as much as possible, and and see what book. Like when I was telling you, I went to Jordan in Turkey.
Yeah.
I was on the Audible with Elon Musk, and understanding how he thinks, right, and why he thinks.
Yeah.
The story was pretty fascinating, man, because you understand now why. What's this guy's drive? You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying
what's
to be
his
like
why, right?
I'm not trying to be like Elon Musk, because I'm not a genius of him at all. But I mean, but those are the kind of people you like. Wow, this guy could literally stop. You know what I mean? But he's still pushing the envelope, and who knows where Elon's going to end up in the next 10 or 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
He might be one of our most fascinating, probably creators, businessmen of our era.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think he wants to be with the Howard Hughes. I think he wants to be with all these guys that in the first 19th century, in the 20th century, he wants to be like in a league of its own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I was reading his book, but I've learned a lot with this Patrick Bet-David. Like I said, it's a great group right now. I brought a lot of information, and I'm taking it back to my guys, and just keep it pushing.
That's another thing too. Yeah, like implementing, right? Because you talked about how you went to the vault, the valuetainment, and you went to the vault, and then you come back, and then you actually right away put it to practice. You didn't come back and just left the notes on the table. You actually came back and had your team together and said, hey, we got to get together, and we got to implement this stuff.
You really, when you go to a conference, you should start implementing the minute you left that conference. Start thinking, what's my plan? What's my game plan?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you get any information and you're a leader and you keep it to yourself, then you're not a real leader.
Yeah.
Right? A real leader is somebody that is always sharing knowledge. Like if you're a business person and you're like, oh, I don't want somebody to be as smart as me, or I want to feel, like I'm here and my people are here. No, one of the things that you saw, like from from Apple, the guy
Jobs.
that
Steve Jobs.
you had to be on his level. You know, you had to be like, hey, he brought in the smartest people in the room.
Yeah.
Of course, he was the alpha, but he brought in a lot of smart people, and I do believe, you know, if you have a company, you got to look at the people around you. You can't run a company, a successful company, without a team, without real people that want to be in the driver's seat with you.
Yeah.
The more, honestly, the more that you have great people around you, the less you have to work, and the more time you have to expand your business or even make your business better.
Yeah.
You know, if you're doing all the work yourself, then you don't have a business.
Yeah.
You're really a worker. You know what I mean? So that's just, you know, it's just attributes of being a great leader and sharing knowledge, putting processes involved. Never be afraid to make an adjustment. Never be afraid to be like, hey, you know what? We're doing this not working, right? Because unfortunately, especialmente para los Latinos, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like, oh, you know.
Queremos hacerlo todo. We want
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
hands-on. We want
And then your
queremos
ego
andar
gets
ahí
the best
de
of you.
metiches.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing about being a man.
Yeah.
You got to let your ego side.
Yeah.
Egos get you nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I firmly believe, especially when I'm dealing with leadership.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I just had a meeting with one of my managers the other day. And I told him, hey, you know, you have great potential. And I do think that you've come to this point of our company that you're ready. I said, but there's one thing you got to learn. And I think you've matured a lot. Maturity is very key in business, very key in the growth of any businessman or businesswoman. But I think more a man, especially, you know, being a Latino, the machismo and this
El
and that.
machismo, yeah, the ego, yeah. The
You got to let that ego side,
Yeah.
because the ego will be your worst enemy. And history doesn't lie. Look at all the great kings and great leaders of any empire or any organization. Most of them fell because of their ego. They felt that they were untouchable. They felt that, hey, I could get away with almost anything. And you could, but only for a short period of time. Because
Before it
God has
catches
a
up to
way.
you.
God always has a way of coming back and biting you in the ass. He brings you, as you got so high, God has a way of bringing you quick.
Yeah.
And you've seen it with presidents, kings. I mean, history doesn't lie. That's the reason why I'm like a sponge with history. I love it.
I noticed that you really are a sponge into getting
Yeah,
into
I
a bunch
just-
of history and stuff. Speaking of history, give us a little bit of like in the bail bonds business. What's been one of your like craziest clients, or you know what I mean? Somebody that
Oh, man.
I mean, obviously
You
you
know,
can't put any names
I
out
can't
there.
put
I
any
don't know if you
names
can put
because
the names out there,
it's
but
very
you know,
confidential. But
yeah, one of the
it never
craziest
gets
stories.
old. It never gets old. You know, it is when the time comes to a point, I'm gonna write a book, right? But I met some really great people. Never judge a book by its cover. We were having a little dinner earlier
Yeah.
at Prohibition. Let me just throw a name out there, Prohibition.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Name
Riverside,
drop it.
California.
Check it out.
Riverside,
Downtown, come
California.
check out the festival. No, but you know, we've had some great stories, man. I've helped a lot of people, and I was telling you a story about this lady that I helped out, and it was out in a company in LA, and they judged the book by its cover, and you know, I wouldn't say because you know she was a black woman, and maybe because you know they felt maybe that she was a little bit too much from the hood, and they judged that cover, and these guys underestimated her intelligence, underestimated her strategy in a sense. But also at the end of the day, I think I gave her respect. And if you could show people respect, you just bought them. You've earned their business. That is the key. And I showed her respect. I went out to LA, handled my business. Literally, unfortunately, she passed away, but I kept in touch with her husband. I made sure I sent her flowers. And I have, you know, we bail out a lot of people. But she did touch me in a certain way. But that company...
In her story, who did you bail out? You bailed her out?
I bailed out her husband.
Oh, okay. I thought it was her. I was
No,
like, wait a
no,
minute,
no,
you
no,
bailed
no,
her
no,
out.
no. I didn't bail out her, but I bailed out her husband. And her husband was very, very, like, just appreciated that I, you know, because his wife, she liked me forever.
Yeah.
And I didn't do anything special. Like, in a sense, I didn't like, oh, here, you know, here's a bouquet of flowers, here's this gift card. Nah. I just made sure I gave her respect.
And you took care of
I
business.
took care of business. I made her feel like, hey, and I educated her too. One of the things that when I was in the front line doing the bonds, I educated my clients what to look out for, what you should do. And especially, when I saw them kind of young and naive, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted them to say, hey, when you go to court, don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. That's the judge. That's the district attorney. Be smart. Go dress right. Show up on time. I can't do it for you, but, because I didn't want them to come back to me.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Unfortunately, some people did. That was kind of their thing, coming back. But I think that we taught that culture within our organization, respect. No matter what it is.
What's one of the biggest clients you've had in regards to bails?
Oh, man, we bailed out millions of dollars of people, from doctors, attorneys.
Any celebrities?
Yeah, celebrities.
Yeah?
One of these guys, when this whole X game thing was going, I could say, I don't remember his name, but I could say, because he actually put a review when reviews weren't even Google. Like, Google was barely starting to get to these reviews.
Yeah.
Literally, I forgot his name, but he was a big Moto X guy.
Okay.
He was in Temecula.
All right.
I think somebody got
It wasn't Twitch, was it?
No, it wasn't Twitch.
Okay.
It was a little bit right before Twitch, but he was big. He was big. And how this changes your business. We gave him excellent service. I remember I was involved with the bond with the guys in San Diego. It was like $1 million bond. Mm-hmm. And he bails out in San Diego. While he goes on his own, because he had a great experience. Hey, you know what? Bail Hotline did this for me. Boom, boom, boom. And all of a sudden,
boom, blew up.
We just shot up. And we never saw it coming. But what we did see is that Google was being very important to us.
Yeah.
How I saw the whole technology changing.
Yeah.
I'm in San Diego. We used to spend a lot of money on yellow pages and commercials. We had commercials on TV and everything. We were spending millions of dollars. We would spend millions of dollars on we had 35 offices throughout California. So, and then one day I'm doing a bond. I wasn't doing the bond. It was a young guy doing the bond. I forgot his agent's name. I'm in downtown San Diego, and I'm just watching this guy, flowing, and he's having a couple of he was having bumps in the road closing the deal.
Uh-huh.
And so I said, you know what, man? Let me handle this. I always treated my bonds like a Hollywood movie. I did. I wanted the script. I had this whole thing like I was gonna, like a true like actor, right? Because I wanted them to feel like, hey, dude, slow down the road. Let's slow everything down. A lot of salesmen are too fast or they're too slow.
Too slow.
I was like, man, I watched a lot of movies. I love Hollywood, the old movies. So I felt like I was a Hollywood actor, bro. You know what I mean? Hey, you know what? I got this. Because people want to feel secure. Look at any big sales transaction. It's about making that person feel comfortable, right? They're in a bad need, right? They're like they're in deep shit. You're doing the bonds. People are going through the worst time.
You're not going to go to a bail bonds.
You're not going to Prohibition to eat, right? You're not on a cocktail. You're going through some shit. Yeah. So my whole thing is let me make these people feel comfortable. I get them a coffee. Boom. Hey, you want water? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're already in a mess. They're there for you to help.
So a lady was going to bail out her son. I wasn't too sure what it was. We can't recall the story. So I'm sitting there and I'm trying to talk to the lady and I feel like I got this wrapped up, right? Okay, kid, you saw me. You saw the old guy do the bond. You feel, so I always role played afterwards with these agents. And then all of a sudden, I thought I had the bond wrapped. Okay, I gave the lady, Marcos McGuire, the whole spiel, boom, boom, boom. And she felt like $1 million. And she goes, hey, Anita, can I go outside real quick? I said, sure, lady, go for it. She goes outside. I thought she was going to call somebody. Let me call somebody right before I signed. It was, I'm going to sign $50,000. So the reason why I'm saying this story, because it comes with that story that we just talked about. She comes back. She says, hey, I'm going to do the bond with you. I said, did you talk to your family member? She goes, no, I Googled you.
Wow.
And I said, what? I said, yeah, I Googled you and I saw a review and I liked your review. And I'm going to do the bond with you. Bro, that was an enlightenment. That was like a lightning rod. And I said, I got on the phone. I was driving back from San Diego to Riverside. I'm thinking to myself, okay, we've done all this marketing and
And all this money,
all
doing
this
all
money
these
and
things.
shit. You know
Yeah.
what? I said, "Sabes que la chingada? You know what? We're gonna change this whole."
Vámonos.
My brother thought I was a little crazy, bro. I said, "We're cutting all the yellow pages. We're cutting all the commercials. We're cutting the radio, all the billboards. Guess what? I'm building a new team, and I'm gonna look for somebody to
Help us with
to
Google.
help us with this, because I don't know shit. I just know about marketing, but I don't know this whole Google thing. I don't understand it."
Yeah.
But that lady,
Open up your eyes.
she opened up my eyes, bro, because this lady was like maybe mid-50s.
Wow.
And during that time, Google was popular. It just wasn't popular to go Google something, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, we're changing our whole paradigm shift here. And that review was the shift of Bell Hotline, of where it went and how we do business today.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things, me trying to help out a customer.
And all your 35 locations are out here in California?
Yeah, we all our locations are in California, except we have one in Boise, Idaho.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in Boise, Idaho.
Okay.
We have two, I think, in Boise, I think, but all California.
Yeah, you guys are pretty big out here in Cali. I know for sure because Bell Hotlines is pretty much everywhere. A lot of people know about it.
Yeah, if you're in the industry, we've been blessed. We're one of the largest companies in the United States.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say that it's owned by Mexicans.
Yeah, that's great.
Si
se puede.
Si se puede, you know what I mean? But we've done a lot with what we've had, and unfortunately we went back to our community. We've adopted a school in Muscoy where we grew up at.
That's crazy. Yeah,
and
Muscoy.
we grew up in Muscoy, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, a little.
If you don't know Musco, it's like it's worse than the hood. I mean,
It's the hood, bro.
It's
No,
the
it's
hood
the
mixed
hood.
with the rancho. You know what I mean? You got the horses running through there.
Then
as
it's
well.
todo.
It's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah. You got a little bit of mix of everything.
But you know what, bro?
Everything is legal and everything's illegal.
In all the
in that
chaos,
place.
in all the madness, bro, it was a beautiful time.
Yeah.
It was a really beautiful memories for my mother to be still on welfare, to be able to buy a home in Muscoy, bro.
In Musco.
And that's on a true story, bro. I mean, my dad was a veteran. It's crazy. My dad comes from Tijuana, and he's only here for 3 years. Back then, there was a draft. He gets drafted to Vietnam, to the war. Luckily, he was a güerito, and they sent him to Germany. Because, we're all, my dad's a güero.
You guys are, the
And they
Mazatlán,
saw
so
Matt
you're
McGuire,
güerito.
and they're like, oh, okay, no,
We're sending you to
They
Germany.
were picking numbers, bro. Okay, 2 white guys. 2 white guys and 20 Mexicans and 20 blacks to the war. That's the truth, bro. That's how it was working, bro. And so my dad got lucky. He goes to Germany, but my dad wasn't here too long, bro. So, he was only here for 3 years from Mexico. He still had a bad accent, I think, but that's kind of the story. So my mom was able to buy the home on an like a military, I think it's called the Veterans or something.
Yeah, the veterans.
And that was my mom's first home. It was in Muscoy. And for us, bro, we were
It was everything.
jumping from house to house, bro. Man, 6 kids trying to rent a home.
Yeah.
And it was not easy, bro. So when we got to Muscoy, bro, you could say though it was the hood.
Yeah.
But for
you guys, it was
a
like
Mexican
everything.
family,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you go to Compton, you go to certain neighborhoods, and maybe for us, we look at it, it's like, oh shit, that's the hood.
Yeah.
But for a lot of Mexican or immigrant families, they're like, hey, dude, that's home.
Yeah.
And that's how
home.
we felt,
Exactly.
Muscoy.
Yeah.
So we were blessed, bro. And
That's why I always tell people, like, I think people that look at when you look at real estate investing, I tell them, like, you don't understand. Like, people say there's no money in the hood. Like, that's someone's first home. That's someone's, like, that's everything to them. You might not want to live there, but someone else, that's like their dream home. That's like their dream place to be at.
Yeah,
right?
I had a cousin of mine. He was always trying to sell homes and I made all my money when I was flipping properties in the hood. I made hundreds of thousands of dollars because I would buy these little properties up in the hood. Me and my dad would fix them. My dad would paint them, and then I would get workers, and we would paint them and we'd sell them, bro. Yeah. And to me, dollar only comes in one color, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not judging where it comes from, as long as it's legal, right? And you didn't hurt nobody. Yeah. But to me, I mean, if you're working hard, you're a plumber, you're an electrician, you pick up, it doesn't matter what the hell you do. I saw this program the other day, and they were oil. It was oil. It's called Man. And it's a show just came out in Paramount, and most of the workers I didn't know in Texas in the oil mines are Mexican.
Wow.
And there's a lot of them. Plus, hardworking, like Texans and all that. But one of the guys, was saying, hey, I went to prison. These guys gave me a job, and it's better to work for it because you never have to worry about somebody taking it from you. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, working hard is hard, but you never got to worry about some bullshit coming your way and somebody trying to take
watch
it.
your back. Yeah, 100%.
Because you work for it.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Was that guy Nathaniel Adams by any chance? The biggest bail client? Adams Mecca or Jeremy?
I think it was Jeremy, bro.
Jeremy Lurk, something like that?
Yeah, I think it was Jeremy. I couldn't remember. It just happened 15 years ago. So 15 years ago is when, this happened. So, yeah. So, I mean, that review helped us. And that's when we were like, oh, shoot, this whole thing just changed. We would literally on the yellow pages, bro, pay thousands of dollars to be on the outside of the yellow page.
Yeah.
It's like...
It's probably where I've seen you guys.
On
the radio, on the billboard, all that stuff back in the days.
We were so aggressive marketing guys. We came from the nightclubs, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like how the journey gets you to one place.
Yeah.
So we're doing nightclubs. We had this big party crew in the mid '90s, and we're smashing it, right? We're doing these big clubs, and we went to Rosarito. Rosarito wasn't now. It was a little beach town.
Yeah.
Ensenada was popping, so we end up in Rosarito. And the first weekend we go to Rosarito. I remember this guy named Porfirio. He gave me the opportunity. And back then, the border wasn't as shithole as now. You could cross any speakers and sound.
Anything
we were doing
crazy.
these big. We started doing this club, and it was a taco stand. And then all of a sudden, the taco stand became a flourish into a nightclub. But I mean, I was 24 years old, bro. And in 3 days, I just hit $60,000.
Wow.
And I'm like, holy shit. I didn't know what it was to make that kind of money, bro.
Yeah.
And my team, I remember when I told my partner, his name was Sergio. I said, Sergio, we're going to Rosarito, bro. You're crazy, bro. I said, hey, bro, are you going to follow me or I'm going to go alone? He goes, well, you're my best buddy. I'm going to go with you. And we had a party crew, took them out there, and it just
Blew up.
It blew up, bro. And we lasted till 2001, from 94, 95 to like 2000, 2001. Yeah. And that's when the whole 9/11 and just became. Yeah. But I mean, those are the events I would go to, brother. With that too,
when
bro.
I was younger, those are the ones I was going to.
Yeah,
to be in.
We were in Boom Booms. We made a lot of money in Boom Booms. So, but how your journey starts, bro? Because we start the nightclubs, and then we back in 99, 2000 during the Y2K. Me and my brothers go back to school, and we take this course, a Microsoft. It was a 1-year course, and we all became technology guys. Wow. From nightclub guys, now we're technology. So now we're technology guys. Uh-huh. And then all of a sudden, we're in the technology business. And in about 2004, my brother gets into the bail bonds. And we didn't know shit about bail bonds, bro. But we saw my brother's first check. He was working for a company. I won't name it, but it's called Aladdin. So we'll just say it.
It's called Aladdin.
So we saw his first check, bro. I'm like, man, are you crazy, bro? Bail bonds? And then we saw his first check. We saw his second check. And then 2 of my brothers got in it. And then I was one of the last ones, and then my brother Gabriel. But it literally changed our life, bro. Yeah. Like, you could see bail bonds as some people would be, oh, well, you're a plumber. You work with the worst. Because, a lot of people think, oh, you're going to be working with criminals, right? Yeah. You're going to be working with all types of wild people. Yeah. We never saw it that way, bro. Because I think we were from the hood ourselves. Yeah. We didn't know any better, right? Yeah. And then to us, it was just like, we've been in this environment our whole entire life.
Our whole life, yeah.
So to us, it's like...
It's no different. We're helping our people out.
We're helping our people. And back then, no offense, there was just white guys in the business. Yeah. So we were really the first true Mexican guys to come into a business.
Understand, too, the people on the other side.
And understand to be able to speak in Spanish with all our people. Yeah. Remember, our gente, like, si no hablas español, they're going to be like, oh,
they can't relate.
I can't relate.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was a click, bro. And I say that to my dad because my dad really emphasized, love your culture, love who you are, and speak your language. Yeah. Like, at least for me, if you know Spanish and you have kids and your kids don't speak Spanish, man, you just did your kids some injustice.
Yeah, you know what? And straight up, I'm a victim of that right now. Like I have 2 little ones, and I'm like, I need to start implementing more Spanish. You know what I mean? Because it's been English. My wife's only English, and so I'm like, I need to start talking. That was the agreement when we were having them. Was like, hey, I'll speak Spanish, you speak English.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, since she speaks English with me, we start speaking English, and then there's no Spanish in the room. So I told her I need to go back to those roots of what I said I would do, which is speaking Spanish.
You know, when my daughter was born, my wife, she's from Mexico, and that's her first language is Spanish, and she was so comfortable. I made sure, though, she had to get better at English because, you know, and I have a lot of friends, like, you have to learn English.
Yeah.
But if you know Spanish, you need to teach that to your kid. I didn't have a conversation in English with my daughter until she was 10 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so it was all Spanish.
It's always been Spanish. And you know what? I made sure, though, that I always took her to Tijuana. I always took I've been blessed to be able to travel all over the world. But I wanted to make sure my kids understood the Mexican culture. Always be proud of it. Go, you know, this is your roots. But to learn Spanish is going to open up doors. I think that's been one of my strengths is I could speak a language. But just think about how the mind works, though. You flip a dime and we could go to Spanish right now.
Yeah, de volada.
It's de volada. Ahorita hablamos español y ya cambia todo.
No pasa
pasa nada. But it's crazy how the intelligence of a mind, and we underestimate that mind, right? Because you're saying, well, I don't want to confuse my child because, no, dude, in Europe, in other countries, they speak 5-6 languages.
Yeah.
And we have a hard time teaching
here. Yeah.
Spanish, and especially a language that you know.
I mean, in Mexico, my wife was surprised that majority, or if not everybody, like nieces, cousins, nephews, everybody out there, todos hablan inglés, like everyone. And I'm like, yeah, it's a language out here. They study it. Like,
well, they know there's.
Yeah, they go to school. They know English.
It's the Golden Gate, bro.
So they understand you, and they get to speak to you in English, and then they do. They talk to her in English. She's like, I didn't know that. I said, yeah, over there it's a must. It's not like here when you have a choice. Over there, it's like everyone takes English.
Well,
or a second language.
Your second language. You know, and I was like I said, I was in Jordan, bro. Mm-hmm. This is not close to the United States.
Yeah.
Jordan is far from, it's in the middle of the East, and it's right in the Middle East. Everybody spoke English, bro.
This is crazy.
Everybody. I was with the camel guy. I was with the donkey guy in Petra in the middle of nowhere, bro. This guy spoke English.
That's crazy.
And that just tells you, if you want to learn something, you'll learn it.
You'll learn it. Mm-hmm.
You can't make excuses for not wanting to give something to your children or teach them something. Because you know what, dude? People make sacrifices. They go to Disney World. They buy shit they can't really afford.
Yeah.
They do shit. You know, come on. Yeah. Your education should be number one.
Yeah.
And that's you first as the parent, and then whatever you could give to your child, right?
Yeah. And I was asking you about your accident, because earlier we talked about you had a motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
So that's something I can relate. There's like a lot of stuff we can relate on, brother. I don't know how God always works this way, and like you just said about attraction, right? You attract certain energy and certain people, and because I had a motorcycle accident back in the days myself. It left me without walking for a year. I lost all my businesses, lost all my money, lost everything.
Yeah, man.
So I wanted to touch bases on that with you, brother, like because you still kind of have a bit of a heart limp or whatever.
I know, you know, and I don't make any excuses for myself, you know what I mean? Because I mean, for a while, I mean, and it was pretty bad because, you know, I had a motorcycle accident at 31, and then I had this operational problem. It was all kind of part of it, but you know, when I'm 31, I had this motorcycle accident, and my life is just barely. I just barely had my daughter. She was only like a year old, and I'm getting into the real estate, but you know, I didn't walk for a year, and I tear my ligament, and you know, luckily I had a good brother of mine, my brother Gilbert. He actually helped me pay my rent, you know, because my wife was a dental assistant, you know what I mean, but we didn't have, you know, I was really the bread maker, you know, and I was just barely getting to Bell because I just left the technology field, and I get into the motorcycle accident, and then I'm doing good, and then I fall in my restroom and I tear my leg, and I go back and get operated. Wow! So I didn't walk for a year. So all that passes, bro. But when I'm 40, I get an operation. It's supposed to be a quick little operation, and they hit a nerve, and it paralyzes me. I didn't walk for like 3 years. What? Yeah, bro. I didn't walk for 3 years. And I still, you know, you notice, you know, sometimes it just depends, you know, it just depends because, you know, I could walk better sometimes than others. But yeah,
I
man,
hadn't, yeah, because I was gonna say, I noticed today, right? Because I saw
Yeah.
you kind of limp a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit, but I'm like, I had never noticed it before. So I
'Cause
thought I thought you had injured yourself. I was like, hey, you okay? Something happened? It's like, it turns out it was back
yeah,
in the days,
you know
right?
what? I really try not to talk about it because, unless somebody asks me, because
Yeah.
I'm never like, oh, I'm not ashamed. I had an accident twice. But when you have those type of like, because it was it was pretty catastrophic for my family. You know what I mean? Because
Not for you, because for me it was when
you
I
know
got
what? It
laid
was
out.
no, and I will for me, but you know what? I really look at how much what my family went through. I was going through the pain,
Yeah.
because I didn't walk for 3 years and I had some crazy pain, bro. I didn't sleep for a month. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And but it happened to me twice. And it was like one of those, like every 10 years, I'm like, hey, why is God punish me like
Yeah,
that? You know what I
right?
mean? Why is God, I got
That's
my
always our
legs.
question, huh? I think that was my question too when I was
Well,
in that bed.
when you're going through all this pain and you're not walking. I think for me, and I think for you, you went through it. For a man, when they take your legs, it's kind of one of the worst things they could do to you.
Yeah.
And I always consider myself a strong man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I always worked out. You know what I mean? I always took care of my image. You know what I mean? Because it was important for me. I always been in the business, and but when I lost my physical ability, it really made me feel unmanly. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it
Yeah.
was tough.
Yeah.
It was really tough. And people know my story. You know what I mean? People would ask me, but I did lose my legs, and I went through some tough times. But I always thought,
You had a 1 year, and then you had to go.
so when
through
I'm
it, and
30, when I'm 31, 30, I think I was 31, I had a motorcycle accident. And I went through this journey, and I had to re-walk again. And I
Therapy,
recovered.
right? That's
Yeah,
what took me that-
therapy,
that's
everything.
what took me the year. Yeah.
I tear a muscle again, so I'm back. But then, time went by. I was still strong. I hit 41 again, bro. I was 40 and I had an operation. It was supposed to be a quick in-op. The epidural hit my back, shocked my nervous system. And because I had trauma from a motorcycle,
Yeah. From 10 years ago.
10
That's
years ago,
crazy.
it was worse. So I'm in neurologist, I'm in physical therapy, and I already have a business. So, luckily I had resources, but my wife went through my wife, man, I got to give it to her. She was a trooper with me both times. And,
Wow.
but for me, my daughter was only like 10, I think.
Wow.
And I think it for me, she lost that ability. I don't think she ever thinks about it, but to play soccer with your kid, to run, what I mean, to do the simple things.
It was
Because
hard
imagine
to
for
do.
2-3 years I didn't
Yeah.
walk. You know what I mean? So I mean, I'm in a wheelchair,
I was going to ask you that. I was in the walker.
I was in a
had to walk the
walker,
wheelchair,
bro.
then the walker.
and then all of a sudden in the cane, and then it just
I don't think you ever realized, and I don't know if you can relate to this, but I remember being on the walker, bro. Even at church, like people really don't care. Like you realize what it is to not be able to move as fast as others.
Yeah.
And you're on the walker, and I remember people would cut me off, and sometimes even hit the walker.
Oh,
And I'm
wow.
like, they don't realize that once this walker moves, I'm on the floor. Like
Yeah.
they like people were just like, did it ever happen to you? Like it,
No, you know what, bro? I
and it really those talk about not feeling manly, right? Or
Yeah,
feeling like
and
nothing you can do about it.
You know what though, bro? I could tell you that I met a lot of good people. Because a lot of my physical therapy and a lot of my stuff was done in Tijuana, and I really met some really good people. I remember that when the second time it happened, people really I could see because it's still a man at 40. He's pretty young, and I've always looked younger, and especially when I was 40. I looked.
Yeah.
I remember people looking at me with empathy, like what happened. Because I look like a strong guy, you know what I mean? But they saw me in a wheelchair, and they're like, hey, what happened to you? And then, when other friends would, they just, but I would tell you, I had a lot of good experience that people really helped me. You know what I mean? That helped me when it opened the door. And then there was some assholes too. You know what I mean?
The ones that were pushing me.
Diego,
out of the way.
I've always been kind of like that optimistic kind of guy. You know what I mean? I'm still hold my faith in good people. And yeah, there's a lot of assholes out there.
Yeah.
But I do believe there's still a lot of good people on the earth.
Yeah, and you're right.
And good people.
I think if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here, right? Walking again.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have gone through the therapies and them doing what they do for us. And then, for me, like I had an aunt that would, bathe me. She's a nurse. She's a nurse to the day, but she would bathe me and help me, and while I was on the bed, and got sent home. So, but it was really, really, like you just said, just as a man, it's really humbling to feel like go one day and then the next day you can't feel nothing underneath your waist, and then, and then losing control of everything, right? Talking about losing, because you're so used to like, oh, I'm maneuvering the businesses and the properties and everything else I got going on, and everything just gone.
Yeah.
And then I have to just focus on make sure my right leg moves with my left leg, make sure I can bend my knees, because I didn't have to think about that before. Right. And then now I have to think about how can I make my body function again.
Yeah. For me, at least, though, it gave me a humbling experience.
Yeah.
And I think that when you're in the go and you're trying to make money and you're trying to build a business, sometimes you forget about those things.
Those little things that give you everything.
And when you lose your health like that, it's very traumatic, and it changes your life.
Yeah.
And I know it changed my life.
Yeah.
And it did. It transformed me to be a better person, to be a more, at least that a lot of people that know me, they're like, hey, you know what? Marco is, and then I would say most people, he's a good dude. But I think that changed me to be a lot more humble, be a lot more empathy with people, and always want to help people some way or the other. I mean, I can't help out the world, but I'm saying in one way or the other. If you walk into my restaurant,
Which one, brother?
well, I'm just saying, you walk into any of my restaurants, I'm a very people-like person. Even even my dishwasher, when I first walk into my restaurants, I try to walk into the kitchen.
Well, that's why I started, lavando platos.
But I make that for a reason, though, Diego, because some people forget the people that sometimes really matter, and your kitchen people, the dishwasher, your janitor. I have better conversations with my janitor sometimes than I do with some bartenders and stuff, because I go back and I relate to them, in one way or the other. And I showed that because I think if a great leader could talk to everyone, right? Like if you're one of those leaders and you're so high up that you think you're so full of shit, and you feel like you're so high up that you can't even have a conversation with the guy that cleans for you, that washes your dishes, then you're a bad leader.
Yeah.
Why? Because without those people, you don't have a business.
Yeah.
You don't have an operation. Yeah. So I teach that to my bartenders, my servers, because sometimes, they get a little bit more of the glamour. They're in the front line. They get the tips and this and that. But hey, respect everybody.
Yeah.
If that back of the house ain't busting their ass, you're not going to make money on the front of the house.
You're not getting in the front. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a culture that I built, but I think life has a way of forming somebody and changing somebody, and hopefully it changes you for the best and not the worst. And you learn from the past, but you go forward for the future.
Let's talk about a little bit about the IE, because I used to put it on all my platforms, my social platforms, that I own the IE, right?
Yeah.
I used to tell people I own the IE, and people are like, "What do you mean by that?" Like, I own the IE, like meaning that you might see me in Bel Air, you might see me in Hollywood, you might see me in Florida, you might see me in other places.
Yeah.
But I build my wealth here in the Inland Empire.
Yeah.
And so most people, there's always haters. People are gonna laugh and talk, and they're like, the IE, what's the Inland Empire? And I tell people, like, look, don't be fooled. Like, this is where wealth is built. Like, a lot of people are too Hollywood. They go Hollywood, right? They get the limelight, and then they want to go somewhere else. You've obviously been in, and you have businesses in different places as well. But for me, the IE is where it's at. Like, the Inland Empire.
I got no business going to living in LA. I'm fortunate to have a house in Newport. I have a loft up in downtown LA, right there by LA, LA Live Nation, right there by the crypto. And I have homes. I've been fortunate to have homes everywhere. But for me, I love Riverside, bro.
Yeah.
I grew up in Muscoy. I was born in LA, but like everybody, we start to come
out this way,
east. Come in Empire, and I just, you know, when I get to my office, I'm in Riverside, I get to walk and I see the Mission Inn and you know, like today, bro, literally today, I'm on my scooter, right? Because I drive around my little scooter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, man, how pretty the Festival of Lights is. And I'm getting excited. You know, I still get this
And your
excitement,
businesses are
bro.
in
And
that
I'm
area.
like, damn, you know, let's make sure our lights are right. Let's make sure everything looks beautiful. Because downtown Riverside is beautiful, bro.
It is, brother.
Downtown Redlands is beautiful. Remember we were talking
People
about
sleep on it. Yeah.
And
downtown Redlands. 100%.
I tell you know what's crazy. So we're restarting Prohibition, right?
And right now, don't forget, we're in the blue zone. So,
Yeah.
you know, in the blue zone, as long as you stay here, the longer you live. So whenever you want to come over, brother, we can
No,
live
for
longer
sure,
here.
bro. But I love Riverside.
Michael Jackson thought you had to be like in some type of a casket. You don't, man. You come here to the blue zone.
No worries, bro. Any day. But you know, sometimes we take things for granted. You know, I lived in Redlands. I used to love going through the University of Redlands, right?
Yeah.
Because I lived up in like a little town called Mentone.
Mentone.
It's Redlands, but
Yeah.
my brother says it's Mentone, but I used to go through the
Yeah,
college.
people in Redlands don't say Mentone, brother. They say Mentone.
Yeah,
Like,
and
Mentone is not Redlands.
Yeah,
But
that is-
anyways, for those from Mentone, we're not trying to disrespect you.
No,
but you know
I
what
love
mean?
Mentone. I've been there for many years. That was my first home, and I just loved.
Still part of the IE, so we
Yeah,
love you, Mentone.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Don't make fun of Mentone because you know I had a home there for a while. But no, you know, the Inland Empire is special, and especially if you come from like other areas of LA and like Riverside. You know, when we first opened up Prohibition, we were doing big acts. We were doing Snoop. We did 50 Cent, French Montana. We were just doing act. My brother Danny just got into and then all of a sudden, these people from LA were coming to Riverside. And when they would come here, they're like, oh man, this is a nice place.
Nice place, yeah.
This is nice. You know, it's like anything. You know, you leave LA to come to something different. You leave Riverside to Palm Springs or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've been doing business in Inland Empire for what? I mean, lived here since I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
And I haven't left since, bro. And you know, a lot of people ask me, like I was at that conference, are you going to come to Florida? What the hell am I doing in Florida, bro?
Yeah.
I know the taxes are different, but
That's
I'm so
crazy.
addicted to SoCal, bro. I'm an LA kid. I'm an Inland Empire, the Dodgers. I got to be at a Dodger Stadium at least 5 times in a year. And
Yeah,
that's not that many because my brothers go like once. I go to a Laker game
Every
once a
other one.
month or every
Yeah.
2 weeks. I like this shit.
Yeah.
This is me, bro. This is where I find home. I like going taquero. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was hard for us too. Like when I was trying to, same thing. We thought about moving to Texas. We thought about moving to Florida. Then it's like, but where else can you go? Like here in the Inland Empire, what I love the most is like, where else can you be in California where you can actually go everywhere? Like from here, we can go to, like you just said, Baja. You know, in Baja, California, we can go to San Diego. We can go to the mountains. I can literally go to the beach and come back on the same day. Not even, you know, just make a day of it. I can go to the snow on the same day, come back on the same day, and not have to actually fly to go get to the snow. I can go to the desert, and it's like the Inland Empire. You can go from here anywhere.
It's a very logistical key place because, you know, if you need to get to somewhere within a 2-hour mark, you could be in LA, you could be in San Diego, you could be in Orange County, or you could be in Palm Springs.
So let's talk about another state. In 3 hours, you can be in Vegas. In 5 hours, you can be in Arizona. I mean, where else? Inland Empire is where it's
Yeah,
at.
so to me, it's like, I ain't going nowhere, bro. I mean, you know what I mean? And somebody asked me a while ago, your assistant's like, because, you know, I'm too Mexican, bro. Seriously, bro. I love the culture. I love the food. And, you know, some guy was trying to tell me, oh, you know what? Where do you live at? Kansas, bro. Kansas. He said, Kansas. I couldn't believe. Oh, no, Kansas got good food, Mexican food. I said, bro, come on, dude.
No, I'm like,
I don't want to say it, but you're white.
we have a
dude.
hard time finding good Mexican food
I'm
out
Mexican,
here.
bro. I know what Mexican food is, bro. I mean,
Exactly.
I like going to Frank's Tacos in Tijuana, bro. You know what I mean, dude?
Yeah.
I grew up there, so it's just 2 hours. And now that I have a ranch in Tecate, you know, I bought a ranch in Tecate. Like,
Yeah.
I've been working on it for 7
Yeah,
years.
nice too, by the way. I got to make it out there one day.
Yeah, I mean, one of these days, for sure, bro. I'll definitely invite you. But I got animals there, bro. It's like my little like haven place, bro. I go there to zen out. You know, I drink a little Tecate Light, bro, a little michelada. I'm watching my horses. I become a cowboy, bro. I'm not in the suit right here.
Yeah.
I'm all cowboyed out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, when you get out over to
yeah,
Tecate,
bro.
right? Yeah.
Some days I dress all cowboy, and there's some days I'm just relaxing chanclas. But But yeah, bro, I mean, I don't see myself going anywhere. And I built my foundation. We started a foundation probably like about 11 years ago. We literally made it legit like 5 years ago
For the children, right?
for the children. It's called Miracles and Dreams. And the Miracle and Dreams Foundation was founded by me and my brothers and other people that have made it. We're going to be having an event. I think it's December 15th.
Let's touch bases real quick on obviously your success, where you're at nowadays, and where you're headed. You have a 5-year plan of what your next move is to move ahead.
Yeah, it's a good question because, my 5-6 year plan, I have a lot of things I want to do in 6 years, and hopefully I can accomplish them. I have some big real estate projects in Mexico that I'm working on. I would like to strengthen my insurance, get back to my insurance. I left it for the hospitality. I'm going to be downsizing my hospitality and going back to what really made me successful and what I really am great at. And in these 6 years, I want to go at it really hard, because then after that, I'm thinking about, I'm not dropping the mic, but I am going to start pulling away. And I think that, life has given me so much that I want to go and start to give, I'd be guest speakers in different universities, in different high schools, different businesses. And I really want to target the minority base.
Yeah.
Use my experience, my knowledge. And in life, you gain knowledge, and then you gain wisdom, and then you have this experience, right? So I think that, if I could give back is by, and I love doing it too.
Yeah.
And I've been working on being a guest speaker, being in front of different forums. I got invited to UCR, and I didn't know how these kids were gonna, like, hey, these were all like, some were seniors, some were juniors, and I wasn't sure how they were gonna, how they were going to take me in. You know what I mean? I'm not some kid I don't have a master's degree. I don't have a PhD in business, but I do have success, and I'm a proven commodity.
Yeah.
And I think I talk in a way where it's articulate, in a way, but the young could understand.
Yeah.
Right. And I took my daughter and my wife, and it was a class of like 30, and they were doing it also on a Zoom too. They had other students. And, I went there with some material that I grabbed from the Patrick Bet-David, one of these conferences I went to, and then I put a lot of my own, but I was very real, right? But I was trying to hit a note where it's cool. You're going to school. This is a beautiful campus. I remember seeing UCR. I got an ex-girlfriend that went there, and I used to be on my bike, and I had an apartment like 1 block away, and I used to like dream about being a student there, right? Never happened. But I was like, hey, don't ever take that for granted. Whatever circumstances you got here, enjoy whatever year you have left or 2 years, because when you leave here, you don't know what happens.
What's next? Yeah.
You might go into the real world or get your master's, whatever happens. But when you go out to the real world, this is what you expect.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is hard work, right? So my whole thing is keep what I'm doing now, keep pushing, and really strengthen my companies. So when I do decide to kind of take that walk, I could say I've given it the 100%. I have leaders that I built, that I worked with, and I feel comfortable about. And also, my daughter will be, in 6 years, she'll be 28, right? And she's only 22. So 22 and 28 are very different ages.
Different developments.
Yes. So I'm hoping that she's in a better place mentally, in her business, whatever she decides to do. She's been working with me, and my son as well. He's my HR. But I think for me in this 5 or 6 years is enjoying life, still doing my traveling, work hard at my businesses, meet a lot of people, try to keep getting educated, try to keep that creativity of wanting to keep learning, the emotional intelligence. And in 6 years, it will be a different stage of my life.
Yeah, I think overall too is like it's crazy because you talked about your daughter, and I have my daughter's she's gonna finish her master's here in the Inland Empire
Oh
as
man,
well.
congratulations,
So
man.
I'm waiting for her. She's already a psychologist, and she's gonna finish that and wants to open her own practice. And me, obviously, I want her to be involved in some type of business. So I'm like, okay, if this is what you want to do, then when you open your own practice, that's a business in itself. So
Business.
I'm like, let's do that and then get her involved in real estate, right? And so this is one of my ways of getting her information
Yeah.
is through these podcasts and through me being on social
Yeah.
media was really why I started it, to be honest with you. When I came
Yeah.
back to social media this year was because I wanted her to, if she's not going to listen to me, she's going to see me through,
Yeah.
through these cameras and everything, because sometimes they don't
Yeah.
listen. I'm like, so I really want her to grow, continue the legacy and to know that, this isn't it. Like we gotta invest and keep growing because I'm not going to be here forever. So I just want to make sure that she takes that and runs with it and with the rest of obviously her siblings, and making sure that they understand, look, we've done so much and sacrificed, like your grandparents and now to me,
Yeah.
to get into the next level. So like let's grow, right? Let's
Wait.
continue to grow.
I think the American dream is you always want your kids to be a better you, right?
100%.
And I think that, I know for sure my daughter's a better me in a sense where maybe, I don't know about the business success, but, unfortunately, we are what our circumstances, like kind of the mindset. And, being a kid, we saw a lot of things, at least for me and my brothers, we saw a lot of, grow up into the hood and, just there's a long story to that. But, I wouldn't want my kid to say, oh, they need to go into the hood and they need to leave them. I'm taking my daughter to Muscoy. I made sure she's gone with me and when I've done all these foundations and making sure she understood of being a good person. But I'm just fortunate that she never had to go through what I went through.
Yeah.
Hopefully she's a better person for that. You know what I mean? But honestly, I think, congratulations to your daughter, doing the master's that,
Congratulations.
it's not, it's not easy, bro.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. And that's
a lot
one
of
thing
work.
too that I think, we've been able to bless her. But at the same time, there's still that, hey, there's still work to be done. Like you still gotta, you gotta do the studying, you gotta go to work, you gotta do all these things that are a must, right? So you get the car, but it takes for you to put gas in it. Like, you get certain things, certain perks, right? And the rest is up to you. So then that way you continue to show them that work ethic.
I think it's important because sometimes, the school is one part. Now it's the real world and putting into practice what you went to school for. And if you're going to do your own business, but a lot of times it's, hey, you go work for somebody, you learn that business. And when the time comes right, you open up your own business.
Which is what she's doing now. Actually, she's working for the county.
That's great.
So she's already, her feet are getting wet,
Right.
and that's what I told her. I said, you need to get, and because she used to work for me as well.
Yeah.
And I told her, you need to go do your practice or whatever it is that you're going to do, so that way you get your feet wet, you figure it out, and then when you're ready to go, you're going to be ready.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to do your own thing, and we'll just buy the building that you're going to be, having your practice out of.
Yeah, I mean, I think your kids are a clone of what you make them to be, but I mean, it's beautiful when you're a parent and you've seen that. If you were a good parent, I say this to a lot of people because they see my daughter hangs out with me and my wife a lot. And, now she's 22, it's starting to get, but your kids, they say, hey, why does your daughter like to hang out? Because we hung out with our daughter when the time was. You can't expect your kids to want to hang out with you, but you didn't want to hang out with your kids. You know what I mean by that is that you give a kid an iPad. You do all the distractions so you don't have to be there for that kid. You could be there in the room, but you're not there with the kid. And it's important that if you give that kid the time and the support, and you're actually a parent with that kid, conversating, understanding what they're thinking, right? Because that's your kid. You should never allow anybody to make a kid. Teachers are there to educate.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not
parents.
there to make your kid. That kid should be what you think.
Yeah.
Because that's your product. That is your child,
100%,
right?
100%.
So to me, when you're trying, if you,
which is one of the reasons why we homeschool. Our kids
That's
right
probably
now.
the best thing, bro.
After all these things that started happening, it's like, okay, our kids are going to be homeschooled, and we'll spend the time with them and educate them through our core values and what we want and how we live. And
There's nothing wrong with it. It's all power to you, bro, because
know,
those are your kids.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I trip out on parents that they think that the government's going to raise their kid. The teacher's going to educate your kid. No, dude.
just drop them off in here.
Yeah, here you
handle
go.
it.
No,
You handle
dude.
it. Yeah.
Then your kid is not really yours. You made that kid, but actually that kid doesn't even have your same mentality or your same morals or your culture. It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And it's one thing that me and my wife put a lot of time into our daughter and our son. But one of the things that I was able to put my kid in private school, I was able to give her tutors all the time. One of the greatest things I think I did for my child is I took her to multiple countries.
Wow.
I took her to every country you could think about, and really in Mexico, but I took her to a lot of countries. She's been in almost every continent in the world with us. And I think that is more than books, because you get to see how other people live, how other people think. Because, we're such, if you don't believe in this religion, then you're bad. If you're not thinking of this politics, you're bad. No, you know what? If you have an understanding of how the world works, you become more of a real thinker, right? So if you're a real thinker, you have a whole vast mentality of how people live and because at the end of the day, I've been to so many different countries, and it's just really one rule. Most people just want to be happy. They go to work. I could feed my children. My children are happy. My wife is happy, and I'm at work. I come home, boom, and just keep it simple. But unfortunately, today. But I give you credit, bro. To homeschool your kids is probably the best thing I would say today. Yeah. Or you bring in a turtle that, hey, you know what? Teach them math, English, history, the basics. Yeah. I'll teach my kid about life. I'll discipline my kid. I'll do the work. Because when you put in the work, it's like a business. We talked about business. Hey, Mark, but honestly, I hate to jump onto this, but a child is work.
Oh, 100%.
And to have a good child, you put in a lot of work like you did a business, right? Why give a kid an iPad at 10 years old, bro? Yeah. I see parents all the time, dude. The kid's 6 years old and they have an iPad. Yeah, that kid gets pissed off when you take away the iPad. TVs are in every room, bro. Yeah. Computers in every room. The kid has a laptop and an iPad and he's 10 years old, bro. Yeah. Unless he's some type of genius kid. But you should control everything about your child, dude. Yeah. You're the one that feeds that kid. And I'm not saying to be like, oh, you're a gel or anything like that. But you know what? Don't be upset when your kid is 16. You don't even know how to have a conversation with them. You can't be in the same room with them. They don't like being in the same room with them, and you don't like being in the same room with them. That, to me, is probably the saddest thing in life. Because maybe you have all the wealth in the world, but you're lonely. You don't have a family. You might have a family, but the family's not really there. Or that or bad health. But I do believe just
facts, brother. Facts.
It's just keeping life simple. You know what I mean? Yeah. And never take your family for granted. Never take your health for granted. And at the end of the day, it's 1-on-1. Work hard, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? But my you asked me about my 6 years that's pretty much it. Keep working on the foundation that I have and
Which you said December the foundation.
December 15th in downtown Riverside
Dreams
on Main, where Prohibition's at. We've been doing this for 12 years. So it kind of started very small, organically. You just say, hey, you know what? We're going to do like something different. It's going to be a toy thing, but we're going to try to, we had a little barbershop. So we brought our barbers, we gave haircuts. And then all of a sudden we brought in this local clinic. And, there's a lot of families, they couldn't.
I see you do this outside.
Prohibition.
Baja too, right?
I do that in Tecate too. Yeah, we do 1,000. Yeah, we had doctors show up, dentists show up in Mexico. The city was with us. It was really, really beautiful that day, man. And being able to like see all those families.
Brother, you're looking at a future mayor here. I mean, you're saying, and this guy is saying in 6 years. In 6 years, I see him even before the 6 years becoming a mayor.
You know what? The only reason I run for mayor of Riverside, I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. If we don't get a Mexican mayor in Riverside, somebody of brown, I will run. As of today, what's today's date? It's official.
It's official.
5-6 years. If we don't have a goddamn Mexican mayor in Riverside, of Latino descent, I will run for mayor.
That's
And
great.
I will win.
Yeah.
I will win because I would be a good mayor.
Yeah.
I would be for the people and I'd make sure the city thrives. I'm a business guy. I'm not trying to do the Donald Trump story, but put a business person in play. Things get done efficiently. There's no red tape. We're not over here spending money that nobody knows. But if we don't get a mayor in the next 5 or 6 years of Mexican,
Yeah.
I'll be your first Mexican mayor of Riverside.
I'll be there to endorse you, brother.
Thank you, man. But I think that's what Riverside needs because come on, man.
Let's go, IE.
You got so many. Riverside is what, like 40% Latino, 15% Black, and we don't have a person of color being one of the mayors.
Yeah.
Never in the history, bro, of Riverside.
That's what's crazy to me.
That's crazy.
That's crazy to me.
So I mean,
And
I'm
the streets
hoping
are flooded with it.
I'm hoping I can inspire somebody that wants to be in politics. Come
He's
and
talking
be our
about
mayor.
himself. He's inspiring himself.
No, but I'm
let's go.
seriously, we were talking with Amelia, right? I'm like, Marco, run. I said, no, I'm not ready yet, bro.
Yeah.
I said, but that's the only way I would run because we have to inspire our youth. We have to inspire our community. And yeah, money is great and business is great. But also at the end of the day, the best thing in life is inspiring people.
Well, look, the job isn't for everyone and just anybody. It's for someone like yourself. So, I'll be the first one to vote yes on mayor of Riverside.
I mean, it's not my goal, guys. I want to make sure it's not my goal, but I do think it's important.
Yeah.
Because, when you're growing up in life and you see like the Denzel Washington, you see the Salma Hayeks, you see so many different actors. You're like, hey, man, you're inspiring others to do things that maybe they couldn't see. You know what I mean? I voted for Obama. You know what I mean? Because I thought, hey, it's great. I didn't vote for Harris because I just didn't think it was great.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was the right thing. You know what I mean? So, some people are like, oh, dude, let me be who I want to be. I'm not here changing your mind.
Yeah.
I believe that you believe in the beliefs that you have, and you don't be a hypocrite.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do it because others are doing it. Just
Don't
do it,
be a sheep.
Believe in yourself. Exactly.
I really believe in affirmations, right? And there was an affirmation we stole from the vault, and it says, what was it? Something about I'd rather be led by sheep. It was something about sheep, and then it says, and then being led by a lion, right? Because we get inspired by people that really believe in what they're doing, and a lion is the king of the jungle, bro.
Yeah.
He
You want to be
has
led by a lion, not the sheep.
yeah, not the sheep, bro.
Not
You want
the
to
sheep.
like, hey, dude, like that's important,
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, brother. I mean, I had a chance to experience a little bit of what you do with your foundation. I enjoy. I think and you tell me about this.
I expect you on December 15th, bro. You know what I mean?
I know. We'll be there. I think for me, I don't think people realize. I think because of development, we talked about the developing as an individual, and I think for us now, at least for myself, and I see it in you as well, is like when you get back, it feels that much more better than taking or getting. Like receiving doesn't feel as good as giving back.
No, it's actually therapy, bro.
Yeah,
It is when you talk to somebody and you're giving them content.
Yeah.
Like I know that's one of the reasons why you started this whole journey of yours.
Yeah.
But I do believe not even just on the physical part, but just on the mental part and giving people time. I can still remember when I was a kid, when I had an adult really be genuine, nice to me. If it was a neighbor, it's not always about a family member. It was a neighbor or maybe a teacher or somebody like just literally talk to me with compassion and really like, hey, Marco, you could do this.
Yeah.
It sometimes it's just, there's no money involved. It's just time.
It's just time.
It's just time. You know what I mean? And I think that, with everything that happens nowadays is that we sometimes forget about that. You know what I mean? But, I say one thing. Think about it. Smile does not cost you anything. Being a good person doesn't cost you anything. But you know how many doors you open up and how many people you could be like, wow, he was a good dude. We're not always going to be like super positive, but
I mean, at the end of the day, we're still bosses, right? You still
Yeah,
gotta
we're still
show up.
bosses. You got to
gotta
still
be a
your
boss.
boundaries, and you still got to have people show respect.
Yeah.
But you don't need to be an asshole.
No. Yeah. That's
You
true.
know what I mean? And I think if you could,
Crazy you say that because we both taught, we both, I mean, you drove up in the Porsche, not just any Porsche, of course,
thank you.
your Model 4 GT, yes, but and then the Ferrari, and I've been in places. As a matter of fact, I went to an event where it was a toy store,
Yeah.
for the kids and everything. I show up in the Ferrari. There's cars around, and then there's another guy shows up in a Ferrari, an attorney. As the attorney shows up in the Ferrari, gets off, he's like very egotistic, his character, his attitude. He stands there, and just kind of looking around like nobody touched me. I'm walking around shaking hands, talking to everybody, smiling.
Yeah.
And making friends. And it's crazy to see. He just got up after a little while, got on his car and left. And then the guy, one of the individuals I was there with, who's I say he's famous, by the way, comes to me. He's like, "Hey, Diego, what is that? Like, you see that? Like, why is it that you're walking around and you're just like hello to everybody and like your character, and then you see this individual, he just came and you saw how he acted towards everybody, the kids, like nobody can even approach him."
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's him in his mind and him thinking in his ego ways that I'm superior than anybody here. I just drove up in a Ferrari. Or for me, I mean, I just drove up in something that inspires others. I didn't drive up in anything specific.
Yeah,
So
I actually feel bad for that guy, to be honest with you, bro. I mean,
super
seriously.
lonely, brother. I mean, I could feel that. You could feel that, like, dude, I just got a chance to say hello to everybody here, and you got a chance to get off your car and get back in the car and leave alone, and empty inside.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing there.
I actually think the energy and synergy are a combination of we're built of inside us where people feel energy, right? And I think the energy is connected. You know what I mean? Like if we like this carpet here, you know what I mean? There's electrics running through us.
Mm-hmm.
And humanly is like we feel energy.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody walks into the room and they have this energy to them and they're just very bright and they just, hey, you know what? You're not fake bright, but you're like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Boom, boom. You're having a good time no matter where you go.
Yeah.
Right? Like me, literally, I can have a good time anywhere I go because I'm just looking at it differently. Right? Like, and sometimes, to be honest with you, Diego, I feel more comfortable in better settings when, they invite me to a dinner and it's a gala and I'm around a bunch of, politicians or a lot of people with a lot of money, because sometimes they're so uptight, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You would think these son of a bitches should be happy. They live in big homes and
they have all the,
they
have
could
everything.
get on a private plane or they could do. But sometimes you're asking yourself, wow, what's up with these people?
Yeah.
I'm not here to be a therapist, but to me, when I'm good with people and people are good with me, I don't got to go to a therapist because I'm already getting therapy as it is. Yeah. Like literally, that's therapy. That's me giving energy and energy's coming back.
Right back. Yep.
Right? So, I mean, that's just, you say that. I feel bad for that dude. Who knows? And it's a shame because he's probably a very talented attorney. He's probably, maybe 2 or 3 divorces. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe his kids don't like him. He doesn't like his kids. I don't know. But that just tells you that, that money's not everything.
Yeah.
It does help. And you could do a lot of good things with it. But, pobre vato, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for us, estamos aquí para inspirar a nuestra gente. That's another thing that hurts, right? Like we as Mexicanos, we're here to inspire others, and like you said, minorities as well. We don't want to just be, like showing up and acting like, again, we don't stink, or we've never made the mistakes, or we're not real, and we are real. We're real individuals. But look, brother, I want to kind of end with this. It's I always ask people, and I think we talked about it already with IGNYTE. Just what is your why now? We have different whys. I think as we develop as individuals, and in business, and spiritually in every way, we develop, and our whys changes, right? Like I had a daughter at a young age. That was my why. Then when I lost everything, my parents were my why. And now my wife and my kids, my little ones. Yeah. My whys change. So that's what keeps me going. What's your why now, Marco?
I think it's kind of like the whole picture what you just said for me. I still have a daughter that really depends on me, and I know that she, even though she doesn't tell me, I know she's very inspired by who her father is, and what he thinks, and where he's at. My wife, I have brothers, and think, I think I have an accountability. I think that I was put here, and I'm not trying to, say, oh God, but we're all
No, say it,
put
brother.
on
God,
this.
God is real.
God is real, and I think that, for me, I'm very, very blessed that, I was unfortunate. I end up in accidents and I'm not able to walk, and then all of a sudden, and if I had to turn the clock and went to 1989 or 1991, and I got myself into trouble, and I was in and out sometimes of jail, and I was never crazy or anything, but you got into some fights, and
Yeah.
I thought the world was coming to an end, bro, and I always kept a positive mind, and understanding why I'm here, and I think that my why is why I'm here. I don't try to be perfect. I try to be great.
Yeah.
And that's my motto. I don't ever think that I think that people that try to be perfect are the biggest hypocrites. But the people that try to be great in whatever you do, and that's whatever spectrum you're in, whatever business or institution or whatever you do. But for me, it's just, I wake up and I try to be great that day.
Yeah.
And it's not always like, oh, I want my business to be great, but I want to be great with my people. I want to be great with trying to be a better person. And that's my why. And my why is keep going forward.
Yeah.
And the more I could see more countries and do more things, and just being at my ranch, bro. Sometimes my animals, they bring me, simple. I see a peacock, bro, and the peacock opens up his feathers like, holy shit, that peacock's beautiful. That son of a gun's mine. You know what I mean? I see my ducks. You see me post ducks? I got a friend of mine, Marco, dude, post something sexy on your restaurants. Ducks. I said, hey, dude, that's my IG.
That's you.
That's me, dude.
Yeah, that's your
me.
photo. That's what
I'm
you-
all different. I'm all like a diverse kind of guy. One day I could be at my restaurants and I'm posting something, sexy, like some plates or a cocktail, or, I'm inside DT in the club, or I'm at the Bell Hotline, or I'm traveling abroad, or I'm just having a taco, bro. But that's just me.
It's just you.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah, and,
so,
and I've seen that. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact. Now that right now that you mentioned it, I've seen all those images, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I've seen that.
so I
So
I appreciate
really,
our friendship. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Overall, it's like being you, and be okay with being you.
That's it, man.
Yeah, because no one else cares. At the end of the day, no one cares, and I want to make sure we end that with that. No one cares the way you should care about yourself. No one else cares. It doesn't matter. In a minute or two or a second later, they forgot about you. But guess what? You don't forget about yourself. And as long as you're within yourself, being true to yourself, there's nothing that's gonna stop you.
Yeah. Don't ever worry about what I think social media has really plagued people. Like, there's always gotta be like showtime. I always gotta look good, or always gotta show off this. I gotta do that. Nah, man, just be you. Be happy. Don't put any pressure that you don't need. And like, hey, man, if the shit's not going right, make your adjustments.
Yeah.
Go back to the drawing board. Maybe the people you're around, make adjustments in life if you want something better in life. But honestly, just be you and stop being somebody you're not. Because that's kind of the worst thing. It is exhausting,
It's
bro.
exhausting to be somebody you're not. Yeah.
There was a question on the soft audit thing, and it said something about, are you when are you a certain person when you're around people, and are you a different person when you're not around people? If you're even kill and you're always pretty much the same person, I'm not saying you don't get a little down, or that happens. You know what I mean? You get pissed or whatever. But if you most of the time, it's going to be a lot easier in life.
100%.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I like I said, I appreciate inviting me here. It's been we've been each other the last 3 hours from Prohibition to here,
man, it's been,
and the traffic coming here. You know what I mean? But
and here you go. Like, I'm a big believer in creating relationships and not transactions, and so You know, and I'm a big believer in God. I am huge in faith, and
Yeah.
I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in God has a plan, and there's a reason why we're here.
Yeah.
We both had motorcycle accidents. We both, you know, fell without being able to walk. You know, we both own multiple businesses. We both invested in real estate. We both, you know, all these different things that come about just through our conversation. It's just like, you're showing me again, you know exactly
Yeah.
where I'm at and why I'm here today and why you're here today. So, you know, thank you to God before
Yeah,
anything
man.
and foremost, and thank you for coming and making the effort.
No,
brother.
thank you. Appreciate it, man. And keep doing what you're
for
doing,
being here.
Diego. I mean, I'm very proud for you, bro. I'm excited for you. And I hope this podcast flourishes, bro. And I hope you keep having great guests and having great conversations. Seriously, bro, you're a special dude. And I'm not just telling you that. You since the day I met you, and you know, you showing up to that casino night and trying to donate, and you put that post, that was special, bro. And it's the reason why I opened up my own foundation is because I want to know people that believed in me, believed in my brothers, believed in what we're doing, and the money wasn't going just
Yeah.
to nonsense.
Yeah.
So keep doing what your brother. I mean, keep doing what you're doing, and I'm just proud of you, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, brother. All right, guys. So that's it. That's a wrap for Ignite. I want to make sure that you guys understand. I want to make sure that every time you guys come on this actual podcast, understand that whoever's in here igniting, that's what it is. It's building your fire up and making sure that you guys are waking up. Wake up, and spark that fire. Let's go.